Hello people, lesson 12 today is meatballs with pasta and tomato sauce. The meatballs I've used were the ones that I froze from the Chef Teddy's recipe in lesson 2. If you don't want to use those meatballs, you can make the meatballs but only use 1/3 of the pork and just have more beef in them. Everything else in that recipe is the same, and you can make your meatballs round rather than oval as per the Chef Teddy's. But it works really well with the Chef Teddy's, and since I had 30 frozen ones, it was fine to use those. So if you've frozen that down, it's a really quick meal for either lunch or for evening. So on you go with this one, and good luck and enjoy. Today's recipe is pasta with meatballs and tomato sauce. I've used the defrosted Chef Teddy's meatballs that I did in lesson 2. 1 onion, 1 clove of garlic, 2 tomatoes, salt and pepper, a small glass of water, oregano, half a teaspoon of sugar or sweetener, and pasta of your choice. We're going to have it with linguine, but you could have it with rice or mashed potatoes if you'd rather. Right, now I'm doing this recipe for 2 people, so if you want to do it for 4, just double up. I've got an onion, a clove of garlic, 2 tomatoes. I'm going to bulk it out with grated carrots. I've got a peeled carrot there. The peelings are of course in our veggie bag in the freezer for vegetable stock. Salt and pepper, oregano, small glass of water, half a teaspoonful of sugar, and there's 10 of the defrosted Chef Teddy's meatballs. Okay, I've peeled and cut up the onions and garlic, and I've just popped those into 2 tablespoons of olive oil to fry off. I've cut up my tomatoes, and I've taken the little core out of the centre of each of the bits. Cut them in half, then in quarters. Taking that core out at the beginning. I've just grated the carrot. That's to bulk it out a bit and to add a bit to the sauce. So I'm going to put that now into the saucepan with the onions, garlic and tomato. There's the carrot in there now, and I'm just going to stir all that round. Then give it a couple of minutes, and I'm going to add the glass of water, salt and pepper and the oregano. There's about half a teaspoonful of salt and about a quarter teaspoon of pepper in there now. And it's just sort of reducing down. I haven't put the water in yet, so I'm needing to cook off those onions a little bit. The carrots a little bit first. You can see it's all quite mushy now, so I'm just about to add the water into that. There it goes now. And I'm going to add the half a teaspoonful of sugar. Now the sugar is going to sweeten it because tomatoes are quite often slightly bitter. If you don't want to put sugar in, you could put half a sweetener or a sweetener in, but you could also use tinned tomatoes for this. The reason I used fresh tomatoes is that I had 2 that were about to go over in the salad drawer, and I just thought I'd use up those. So that's going to bubble away now for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to put the meatballs in. I've just put a sprinkle of dried oregano in there. Oregano is very often used in Italian cooking, and especially with tomatoes. Okay. I've popped my meatballs now into the sauce, and they're going to be simmering for about 15 minutes, by which time the meatballs will have absorbed some of the tomatoey taste as well. So we'll come back to those in a minute. There it is now. As you can see, the sauce is thickened and the meatballs are nicely taking on the flavour of the tomatoes. I just put on my water for boiling the pasta. Pasta goes into boiling salted water and cooks for 12 minutes. Unless you've got a fast cook one, just read the packet. I like mine, you should have pasta al dente, which means it's got a bit of a bite to it. I don't like that. I like it just past the al dente, so then it's quite soft and it takes on all of the sauce. The sauce sort of enrobes it, which is what I'll be doing with this before the end. I'm just going to add a teaspoonful of salt to the water before it comes to the boil, and then I'll add my pasta and it'll be cooked for 12 minutes. Once my water's boiling, I'm going to be using linguine, but you can use spaghetti, pasta shells, fusilli, any little pasta you want to use, or you could use rice, boiled rice or potatoes, your choice. Water's bubbling away nicely, and I'm going to use about this much pasta, which is going to be enough for two. So I'm going to break it in half to fit into the pan. But if you want some fun at the table, you just leave it whole and long. Pasta should be cooked in rapidly boiling water. So I'm giving, and you shouldn't really need to stir it. I'm just giving it a little bit of a jiggle about, because I don't want the pasta to stick in clumps together. So that's sorted now, so I'm going to wait for that to come back to the boil after I put the pasta in. 12 minutes from now that should be ready. There it is, bubbling away. It's probably had about half the time now. So you can see it's all starting to swell up. It's still got the 6 minutes to go. Don't give up before the 12 minutes, okay, because this won't be ready. Time has just gone off, so it's had 12 minutes, and I've just hoiked a piece out to try it. I'll let you know what that's like in a second. Yeah, it's cooked right through. It's not al dente, it's just a little bit past al dente. So perfect, so I'm just going to drain that off now. The cooked pasta, I'm just about to tip in the sauce from the meatballs. Sauce is in there now. I'm just going to stir that round to coat all of the pasta. Okay, so there's all of the tomato sauce mixed round. All of the strands of pasta are coated with the sauce. If you wanted it darker in colour, you could add a teaspoonful of tomato puree, but all it does is add to the colour. It doesn't actually add to the taste. Once again, you can see my fabulous plating skills. That would be to lob the pasta with the sauce on the plate and then just put the ceftedes or meatballs on the top. I'm just going to add a sprinkling of cheese. Ideally it would be parmesan, but since we're on lockdown and we haven't got any, I'm going to use grated Emmental. That's today's recipe over, so bon appetit and enjoy.